So I think what we've seen in the last few days is clearly if not the opening shots in a trade war, then certainly the artillery on both sides being put in place, the sort of final warnings being sent to the capitals that conflict is near. The Trump administration has really laid out the most robust response to China on the trade front that we've seen since the Nixon administration in the 1970s. And the Chinese have responded with their own list of more than 100 goods on which they would apply 25% tariffs. So everyone's lining up the guns here, and we could get a trade war very soon. There's 2 points that the Trump administration has named as major concerns with China. One is the annual trade deficit that the U.S. has with China. That was something like $375 billion in terms of goods alone last year. The second thing is a kind of a longer and more insidious kind of policy issue, which is how China deals with intellectual property and deals with foreign investors coming into China. The U.S. argues that China forces companies, big American companies and others, to hand over important technologies and know-how as a cost of doing business, as a sort of pay-to-play cost to work and to get into the Chinese market. And these tariffs are really aimed at that, at forcing change. And it's not clear that that is something that the Chinese can respond to or can address quickly. And that's one of the real risks here. So one of the striking things has been how much markets have bought into the idea that we've heard from some in the White House that you could get a negotiated settlement. That's not at all what we hear on the ground from trade officials and from people really involved more intimately in the policy areas. Larry Kudlow, the new National Economic Council director, on his third day in the job, set out on Wednesday to calm markets after China quickly announced a list of retaliatory tariffs, arguing that these were just proposals. But really, people who've been in the administration for a longer time and have been working on these things are much more resolute in terms of how they approach these things. So there's a real disconnect now between what the markets see as a more benign scenario and what seem to be the kind of the harder facts in terms of where we're going.